Okay, welcome back. Today's episode I'm going to be taking a look at a Sega Genesis cartridge. Now usually I do test these cartridges before I open them up, but in this case this cartridge is very corroded. I see that there's a lot of green corrosions on this, so I don't want this inside my Genesis. So I'm going to take this apart and take a closer look at the PCB board before I test this out. Now taking a look at this cartridge, it was a good idea not to put it in my Genesis. Now here's an example of a really badly corroded cartridge. Now all these traces on the left side, they're all chewed up and corroded through. So I really don't know how a cartridge gets like this. Now it could be water damage, but there's no rust against the chip. So I don't know how this happened. Perhaps this could be from years of blowing onto your cartridges. I really don't have an explanation for this. So to start off, I'll just use some Brasso and I'll clean up these pins. Now these pins are cleaning up, the corrosion is coming off, but the damage has already been done. These traces are already gone and these pins are already chewed up. So I'm weighing my options. I have two choices. I can go with plan A, which would be patching all these traces, and plan B would be a board swap. Now I'm going to try plan A first because I really don't like cannibalizing working cartridges, even if they're cheap, worthless games. In this situation, this would be an ideal candidate for a board swap. But before that, I'm going to try to scratch up the PCB board and bring up the copper traces so I can just see if there are some breaks. I noticed from the naked eye that the breaks do seem to come through, and it does seem to have no continuity on some of these traces. And I'm also going to scratch this up and see what I'm working with. Okay, so on the front face of this cartridge here, I noticed that only a select few traces lead up to the chip from this side, and I figured with a handful of breaks like this, maybe I can fix this cartridge. So I'm gonna try plan A first. As you can see right now, I'm checking for continuity. This is a good way to check to see if you have breaks, and just like I'm doing, if I don't hear a beep, I know that okay, there's a break. If I hear a beep, trace is good. Now I'm just gonna try to, with a little bit of solder, try to make a bridge. And now I'm noticing that it's getting harder and harder to get the solder to lay flat on the pin, and even so there's not really much left. So even with this component leg, I'm going to try to make a bridge, but even so there's not much trace left, or there's not much pin left. So this is not really how I like to fix these cartridges, but as a proof of concept I'm going to go forward with this, see what happens. Now I recommend doing this if you have one broken trace. It's easier to do it. Just take a component leg and lay it across and make continuity and create continuity between the pin and the trace up to the chip. But when you have so many broken traces like this, just do a board swap. So after a while of me doing this, it was getting uglier and uglier, and it was more and more traces than I originally thought. And then I started thinking, this isn't gonna work. I can't. This wouldn't be a fix. This is too far gone. This board is too far gone, and I don't even know if this ROM works. I don't even know if the chip is good or not. So I ultimately just scrap this all together, and I go to the store to find a suitable donor cart. So I'm going to take my desoldering gun and start desoldering this chip from this board, and I actually did get a suitable board swap candidate. It was a $2 Jeopardy cartridge. I actually went down to Digital Press in Springfield, New Jersey, and the guy helped me find the board that was suitable for the board swap. So I just want to take this time to shout out Digital Press in Springfield, New Jersey. If you need if you're in New Jersey and you need your consoles repaired, or at least a game repaired or something, check them out. They also have good prices on games in general. So if you want, definitely check them out. So here's the old board, and the donor board. I've already removed the chip. Now right there you can see that most of the pins, they're unpopulated, and the shop owner explained to me that most of those pins, they're on the original board, they don't lead anywhere, so they're unpopulated and they're not necessary. So those, it's alright, you can do the board swap. Most of those pins don't matter. So after I'm done soldering the chip to the new board, I'm going to clean up the flux off the board. Like I always do, it's self-explanatory. But here you can really see what I'm talking about. Most of the pins are missing, and I noticed on the other board that most of the pins, they didn't go anywhere. So it looks odd, but hopefully it'll work. Now I'm going to try here, and now I only have this connected to RF, so the video is going to be grainy here. I didn't want to hook up my SCART upstairs in my workbench, so I just grabbed the Genesis RF, and it works. So disregard the graininess, that's just the RF signal being terrible. But more importantly, this game is working. So the board swap, he was right, the guy at the store was right. So I'm really happy with this, how it turned out, and I only destroyed a $2 game, so I'm happy with it. I'll take Rocket Knight over Jeopardy. So here's the new board and the old board. The old board I'm going to toss. I'm not going to salvage that for anything. And I'm just going to put this now into the cartridge shell and close it up. I'm going to take this time here to just say that I'm under the weather. I'm actually feeling a cold, and I have a sore throat. So if my voice is a little hoarse, or if you feel like there's something different in my voice, it's just because I'm getting sick. So hopefully I'll feel better. I'll try to get these videos out whether I'm sick or not. I'm going to still try to get these videos out. I just want to let people know that if I feel somber or down, it's not because I'm feeling down or anything. It's just I'm a little sick. So with everything closed up, at least what I can say is the exterior plastic shell, the case of the cartridge, was in good shape. So the labels was fairly decent, so I'm happy with that. And of course it doesn't work on the first try. I have to try it again. Sometimes it's these cartridges, a little bit of flux gets on the pins, or I don't clean them right, or they don't sit properly on the first shot and they don't work off the first shot. But as you can see, it's working. So I got a lot of cartridges coming up, so if you really like cartridge repair, this might be a channel for you. If you don't like cartridge repair, this might not be a channel for you. I will get to other things and other video game related projects in the future, so I will probably do some cartridges, some console repairs, other various video game related repairs. But if you like this video, please comment down below, give this video a like, and share this with your friends and subscribe. I really appreciate everybody for watching. Thanks.